one. I'm going to let him start with a statement, and then please raise your hand to ask questions.
Really proud of our freshmen. I was worried after Saturday's practice because Quinnipiac offensively, they're old, first of all, and secondly, offensively, they're really talented. They can score, and so ball screen defense was imperative, and our ball screen defense was bad Saturday. And our older guys, not our younger guys, our older guys were not as sharp as they need to be. But we practiced a little better yesterday, but our ball screen defense continued to be bad yesterday, and that carried over to today. But our freshmen bailed us out. I mean, they made some great plays to give us a lead in the first half, and then the second half I thought we played better, more to the things that we're trying to get done offensively, which then, when you play well offensively, it lets your defense set. Now, the one thing that I can tell you that we've played enough games to know this, those kids really care. They're going to play really hard. They like playing with each other. And offensively, we got a chance to be pretty good. Defensive rebounding without Matt Cross is a major problem right now. And we need to, I'm not here to, it's not an individual problem, it's a team problem. We got to fix it. And we addressed it 10 days ago, and we got better, but it slipped again. And that's going to cost us if we don't fix that. Sorry for the long deal there.
Stuart Garrett, front right.
You mentioned the freshman Marquis. It seemed like he knew when to push the ball, when to slow it down. He was taking the right shot. What can you say about the role that he's carved out for himself in the early portion of the season?
Marquis was awesome all summer and all preseason, and then he hit a rut, like maybe 7 to 9 days before our first game, and he was like just dragging, and he was playing slow, lethargic, but that's what freshmen do, man. They, practices are so much more competitive than they are in high school. But he's been well prepared. His family, his high school coach, who's also his AAU coach, they've prepared him. And him and Keon made some great plays against their defense in the first half, driving the ball, which is something that we just kept telling the guys on the sideline. We got to stop holding the ball. Shoot it, pass it, drive it, but don't hold it. And but credit Marquis, man. It's he lets you coach them. That's the thing that's fun about these guys right now. They let you coach them. People think coaching is just clapping and smiling. Coaching is a complicated relationship with players, and because you have to correct them when they're wrong. And sometimes you correct them quietly, and other times you got to be stern because it's a mistake that continues to happen. These kids don't run from coaching. They embrace it. And they pick each other up. I had to tell people on the bench to get off the court because they were celebrating their team, and that's it's fun to be around.
Frank, first 10 minutes, your offense had a little trouble against their zone. Did you do anything differently, or was it just them figuring it out?
Yeah, that's my fault. I know TP, their coach. He's a longtime friend. And I told Alan Edwards going into the game, I know they're going to play more zone. But they had shown 2 possessions of zone. That's a problem with these early season games. You don't have a vibe for people's teams yet. And we spent the majority of our practice trying to attack their man. And then they went zone, and we did a better job in the second half against the zone. But what hurt us was our ball screen defense. We got lucky. We made some bad shots. We took some bad shots, bad threes, but they went in to bail us out. But our ball screen defense was a problem. But it's hard to complain about your offense when you score 102 points. It's but you're exactly right. Our zone offense, and that one's on me. That was not on the players.
You mentioned 102 points, most points that we've scored at a time here. What about the offense specifically did you think was clicking to contribute to that?
These kids have been that way. We went to Puerto Rico in the summer, and we scored 112, 97, and 70 something in a game where we just didn't shoot the ball well at all. In our exhibition game, you know, against West Connecticut State. You know, we went in a lot of zone in the second half, and I called the dogs off, for lack of better words. If not, we probably would have scored in the high 90s in that game. In our private scrimmage, we didn't play great in the first half, but we scored 46 in the second half. The other night, we scored 92, I want to say. It's pretty consistent. Our assist numbers are up with this team, and our points are up with this team. We got to – our trick for our team right now is we have to continue to Daniel still is like, you got everyone else practice for 7 weeks. He's practiced 6 times. We got to continue to incorporate him into what we're doing. He's got to learn what we're doing. And then Josh and Matt have to be good. When those two guys play well, it takes a amount of tremendous pressure off our perimeter guys so they can make easier decisions.
Haley, front right.
Coach, you had 6 players in double digits.
Mm-hmm.
How do you really feel that how the contribution from the team has been spread out in scoring as well as just as a whole?
Yeah, they like playing with each other. That's the best way I can. And I sensed that at first practice in the summer. I was like, these guys kind of like competing. You know, they're competitive. And here's the bottom line at the end of the day. In every walk of life, people don't like to compete, don't like to be around competitors. Competitors want to be around other competitors. And when you have non-competitors around competitors, it's a major problem. And I don't care if you're in an office, in a newspaper business, or on a basketball team. When you got a bunch of competitors, they eventually respect each other because of that, and they elevate each other. And that's what these guys do. These guys have busted their butts academically, socially, in practice, in the weight room. The gains that these guys have made in the weight room have been ridiculous. Rasul Diggins, he's a completely different human being because of all the improvements and his commitment to all the stuff that he's doing off the court before he even gets to a practice. So now when practice starts, there's a commitment to winning. Players respect that, and but it's a fight. I mean, we're 2 games in. In a month, I might have a different story for you here. But after being around them in the summer and this preseason, they're fun to be around. They compete, and they let us coach them.
Leads me to a thought. You scored 92 against Albany, you scored 102 tonight. Do you feel confident enough in these guys that if they score like 65 and even win set on Friday against Harvard, because some teams might say it's been easy and they're not, what happened? That your guys aren't going to be that way, and they're not going to say, they'll say, we'll win any way we can?
If we play the way we did in the second half today, where when you play half-court basketball, you can't hold the ball. There's got to be ball movement, player movement, and then you got to get it in the paint. In the second half today, every time they were man, Matt Cross and Josh Cohen just went to work. Josh with his post-ups, Matt with his drives and his physicality. Which then allowed us to get some threes on the perimeter. But we haven't been through it as a group. As much as I like everything that they've shown me to this point, we're going to find out when we get stuck in the mud in one of these games, or that jump shot ain't going in, or we play a team that we can't get behind to get layups. So it's we'll find out. It's So great thing about when you sign up to do this, you don't get to call in sick on the hard moments. You got to deal with it, and you learn from each other in these moments.
What about this new group of guys has changed the way that you can focus around attacking the paint?
Just Josh is what he's done his whole career. That's who Josh is. That's why he was such an important. I told you guys that when the season ended, I was unhappy with our 2-point field goal percentage in the paint. It was bad. It was like in the 300s in the country. That's what Josh has done his whole career. Matt Cross, early last year, I didn't know. I had opinions on what he can be good at, but I didn't understand how to coach him. I knew he was a good player, but in his whole career, everything he's done is like pick and pop 4 and shoot 3, shoot 3, shoot 3s. And I was always like, he's so much more than that. And I'm not trying to be critical of other coaches. I screw a lot of players up sometimes, so I'm not here to criticize, but that's been my conversations with him, and he's so strong and he's learned how to play off 2 feet when he drives the ball. Brian Steele has spent a lot of time with him trying to get him better as to how to those big shoulders and those strong legs and put them on the ground and just go through people to score rather than be quick or avoid. And he's still not there, but he's got to do that for us to be good. You know, we got to get Daniel. Daniel doesn't do that well. You know, Daniel's making baby hooks and little, mid-range jump shots. Daniel's got to learn how to play with that same pop and physicality near the rim.
Andrew, back up.
We saw Keon pick up his 4th foul, and then you started giving it to him.
Yeah.
What are you hoping to see from him there?
Keon's awesome. Keon's awesome. And, and that's the topic I was talking about earlier. He's gotten so much better, and he's so good. And he picked up 3 of his 4 fouls on getting beat off the bounce in a straight line drive to the player's strong hand. And, that's scouting report. Freshmen don't know scouting reports. He knows scouting reports. Can't make those mistakes, and that's one of those moments. Keon's awesome. I told you guys before this thing started, he had a lot of people telling him he needed to leave, and he said, no, I came here, and I'm with the right people, and this is where I'm going to be at. And that's why he lets me coach him, and that's why he'll come back tomorrow, and he'll be as good as he's been and correct those mistakes. Keon's like our little pet, It's and you can tell him I said he's a little guy too.
Kaylee, and then last one to Pedro.
Coach, you had Matt Cross pick up 2 quick fouls, and then Daniel pick up
Yeah.
2 fouls later on in the second half. How is really having a shorter front court impacted your bench and who you really rely on? And how is it going to look kind of going forward with Mathuk being back?
Yeah, Matuk gives us a different dynamic than we have on our team right now because he gives us rim coverage. When people dribble drive the ball, you don't have to overhelp because you got a guy that gives you tremendous rim coverage. Right now, our rim help is by committee and by sacrificing our bodies right now. And it's a difficult time because they're not calling charges anymore. So you got to teach 6'1" guys how to play vertical and jump and not take charges the way we used to. It's unbelievable. It truly is embarrassing that we're trying to take the charge out of basketball. It's embarrassing. But that's not a conversation for I share my opinions with the decision makers when I get in the rooms with them. It's embarrassing what we're doing, and it's all television, But I'm not going to go there right now. But Matuk brings that personality, and now at 7'3", you can pass him the ball at the elbow, and you can post Matt or you can post Josh, and he can see those passes because of his size. He's pretty good, like if you back cut, he's pretty good at making those little pocket passes. Matuk's going to help us. Now, the physicality of the game, I don't know if he's ready for it, But the good thing about him is he deals with Josh and Matt every day, and he don't leave. He doesn't go home and complain. He keeps coming. Actually, they complain about him because they say he fouls too much, but.
Pedro, last one.
Also wanted to ask about the turnovers, especially considering last year it seemed to be a little bit of an issue with the ball handlers. This year it's been so clean, it's an incredible turnover or assist to turnover ratio. What has changed there, and how much has it helped the offense?
Rasul's a better player. Keon's a better player. Jalen Curry, we recruited him for a reason. Jalen's still trying to understand college basketball, but Jalen is, like he didn't play great today. He led us an assist. It's Jalen's going to be, and he's a feisty competitor. Marquis Worthy. Marquis, best way I can word Marquis, he's an aggressive, safe player. That means if he thinks he can go, he's coming at you, but he's not just turning the ball over. The guy that we got to incorporate into what we're doing a little bit better right now is Rob Davis. He's got to be better defensively, and we've got to help him offensively. He's too good a kid, and he brings an incredible spirit here every day. But that's the players. I don't coach any different. I'm the same coach. The bottom line, Rasul and Keon are better players because those are guys that ended up playing most of the minutes for us last year. they're better players. They're better prepared for college basketball. They're better prepared for what we do. You know, same thing with Josh. Josh is pretty good with the ball. You know, Josh gives us a dynamic we didn't have last year. You know, everyone thinks it's all about, can you shoot threes? And it doesn't help if you can't pass the ball. You know, Josh is really good at passing the ball. So, we got good dudes, man. And they let us coach them. So when players let coaches coach, it's everyone stays more positive. Like, we all want to be positive and happy. You know, it's the popular word these days is let's all be happy. And you know, it's when people let coaches coach, man, then the attitude internally is a lot better. And these guys have let us coach them.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, fellas, ladies. Sorry.
Are you John Chaney when it comes to do fouls, that they just automatically